destruction, part of their judgment. And it will be destroyed, and once it is destroyed, the whole world is going into a deep, deep depression like it's never been. And I believe that the man then will stand up and say, I've got all the answers. Just exactly, we had a preview of it in the late 30s, early 40s. The man stood up and said, I've got the answers, except Jews. This one is going to stand up and say, I've got the answers. It's those people that are trying to keep the commandments and have the testimony of Yeshua. Those people. So you go to chapter 12. Revelations. Yes.
If you take the US dollar completely out of the world, all of a sudden it's going to fall apart.
I think so, but it may not be to USA, it may be something else. But wherever it is, it's where everybody and the earth sells their goods. Here it says, verse 15, chapter,
Well,
chapter 12, verse 15. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood, which the dragon cast out of his mouth. You know, the flood is people.
yeah.
And the dragon was wrong. When he seen this didn't work, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of Elohim and have the testimony of Yeshua. So that's who he's going to do. Stand up, say, I've got the answer. It's them. Those people.
And somehow we're going to stand out from nominal Christianity.
We do. We keep the commandments and we have the testimony.
I know, but by and large, the world doesn't know all this yet.
We're keeping the commandments. I'm not so sure about having the testimony about Yeshua yet, to be honest with you. I think we will, because I think that the latter rain will happen immediately.
There'll be
before.
power to
Right,
demonstrate the testimony of Yahshua.
right. So that's what I think. That after the tribulation period, Yeshua will come back. When he comes back, he will fulfill that last 3.5 years of that 70 years of Daniel. 3.5 years. We're told all about it, and Ezekiel is going to bring all the people on the earth that are Israel. Forgive them all their sins. Bring them in the land. Teach them the difference between clean and unclean. Teach them the difference between profane and holy. At the same time, the same 3.5 years, these vials are going to be poured out, these trumpets blowing, all these things coming up out of the bottom of the pit. The whole earth is going to be brought under subjection to him.
There won't be any rest, that's for sure. Not them.
But he himself will do the last 3.5 years. I told you, it's not me. You don't have the same opinion, you got your right to your opinion. Sooner or later, you'll find out I'm right. Maybe the hard way.
I think things are being set in
Real
motion.
hard way.
Things are being set in motion against Israel now.
Of course.
Because the United States now is turning their back on Israel. Congress is trying to defund Israel, do away with their, whatever they call it, umbrella shield.
Well,
United
Zechariah
States
chapter
is gonna
14
turn
tells us that the world, all the nations of the world, or the United Nations, you might as well say the United Nations, will come up against Jerusalem to battle. Oh. Yeah. And they will take the city. And they will rifle the women, tear up the women with children. Terrible thing. And carry off half the people. Half of the people will be carried off. The remnant will be left. And people will be left. And when that happens, Yahweh will come and land right there on the Mount of Olives and put an end to it.
split. So it'll cleave into two.
Yes. No, and put everything exactly in the order. We're told several different stories here. Yeah. And you have to say, you can't say this happened first, this happened next. It's on the heart.
You know, there's so much gonna happen, you know, and you wonder, well, when is the mark?
Well, the mark will be at the end of that 3.5 period of tribulation. All right, go to chapter 13 and let's read it. You'll see that the mark is only at the very end.
Which one, what chapter?
Chapter 13. Paul, you feel like reading?
Sure.
I've been trying to take it off from some
Start in any particular verse?
verse 1.
I stood on the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and on his horns 10 crowns, on his heads the names of blasphemy. The beast that I saw was like a leopard. Its feet were like the feet of a bear, its mouth like the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and his great authority. I saw no one of his heads looked as if were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered at the beast. And they worshiped the dragon that gave power to the beast, and they worshiped the beast by saying, well, who's like the beast? Who's able to make war with it? And there was given to him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given to him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against Elohim, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and those that dwell in the heavenly realm. And it was given to him to make war with the holy ones and to overcome them. And power was given to him over all families and languages and nations. Kindreds being families, family names, if you will. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain since the foundation of the world. If any man has an ear, let him hear. He who leads into captivity is going to go into captivity, and he who kills the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the holy ones. And I saw another beast coming up from out of the earth. He has 2 horns like a lamb, and he spoke like a dragon. And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and those that dwell in it to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he does great wonders, so that he makes fire come down from heaven, from the sky on the earth, in the sight of men. And he deceives them that dwell on the earth by means of those miracles that he has power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to those that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast. The one who had the wound by a sword did live. And he had power to give life to the image of the beast, so that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. And he causes all, both small and great, and rich and poor, and free and slaves, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, so that no man can buy or sell except he who has the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him who has understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. His number 666.
See, this went on for 3.5 years, right down to the very end, when the mark. So it could be
Thank
3.5 years, they're gonna be having
Two
two
beasts
faults.
involved.
Thankfully, it's only 3.5.
There's two beasts involved, and the second one pays homage to the first through this. And of course, the Adventist theory is the papacy is beast one, and the United States is beast two. Therefore, the United States would be the one actually issuing the start of the market.
Or it could be Islam, is beast 2, because they would give homage to the papacy.
These two is performing miracles in front of people, going fire. I think these one may very well be the Catholic Church, but there's gonna be a man come up. And probably the very same man that stands up and said, I have the answer. And then he will, the answer that he have is this.
He'll have technology on his side.
Yeah, the answer that he has is worship this first beast. Yeah,
See, we can't rule out technology or technocracy and something that is called transhumanism or beyond human.
Well, you know how they groomed certain ones, like somewhat of a known fact that Bill Clinton was groomed way back. You know, Obama, we don't know where he came from. Apparently, he was groomed. So the beast, this beast,
Grown?
Is a beast.
groomed,
room.
prepared, pre-prepared to be slid into pound. So this is probably gonna be the circumstance.
Doesn't belong in science.
Most people, or a lot of people, are thinking that this vaccine has something to do with the heart of the beast.
I don't think it does. I think it's just a practice. Just get everybody,
Acclimated.
used to doing like they're told to do, you know?
Well, it's got where they're locking you down more and more. Can't work if you don't have it. Can't. This, if you don't have it.
That would be something that catches my attention. When you look at the mark of the beast scenario, you see where you can't buy or sell, that's to eat it, right? So if they actually get to a point where it's absolutely that way, but it ain't gonna be just cause they're gonna give you an injection. It has to be something to do with commandments. It has to make you disobey one of the top 10.
Yeah, Australia is really, they're coming against the authorities that be in a big way. They're like, what do you mean you tell us we can't work?
Yeah.
Oh, we're working. They're running over the police in the streets. And, they try to blockade them, they can't do it. And evidently firearms are not an issue there.
They don't have.
No.
They don't
I've
have
seen a
mine.
girl from Australia on a video, and she was saying, talking to people in America. She said, people of America, don't give your guns up for nothing. Yeah. She said, that's what happened in Australia. Your weapons in. I've seen videos of them over there, Russian cops and everything, but also they're arresting them and putting them in camps.
Yeah. And people aren't really getting hurt like you would normally think that they should with the kind of crowd dispersal techniques and whatnot that they are supposedly exercising.
Only thing I seen the cops had was tear gas.
Well, I want to ask some questions here. We're going around. What do you have against taking the vaccine?
Mostly because they're demanded me to do it.
About you?
Well, the harder they command me, the less I want to take it, but I think I've heard it's got babies aborted in it.
You know, I heard that, if that was